Welcome to this video where we're going to get another level deep into the charts. So we are going to be going through the charts. Make sure you have yours open for this video so you can follow along. And we want to talk about the different types of tools that you'll find on the charts, and we're going to categorize them for you. But before we do that, I want to start off and talk about a very important feature that is very critical when you're talking about cryptocurrencies. Sometimes you might see this pop up on single share stocks, but for crypto, this is a very important concept. And I want to talk about the price scale along the right-hand side. So right now we're taking a look at Bitcoin. And over the past, since 5, 6, 7 years, Bitcoin has gone from a price of a couple of $100. Now it's up to 60,000 plus. And you could just see how this chart just goes pretty much vertical, straight to the upside. And this is an arithmetic chart. And if you look along the right-hand side, you could see that every major horizontal axis comes across every 5,000 points. So we got 0, then 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 20. Okay, it's every 5,000 points. So this is an arithmetic scale, and quite frankly, it's difficult to determine what some of the patterns are on the charts when you're using an arithmetic scale on an asset that goes up thousands and thousands of percent. Now, if it's an asset that goes up only, just a little bit, let's take a look at like Microsoft, for example. Okay. Well, this one has gone from 25 to 300, pretty much in a straight trend. So it's not quite as bad as the cryptocurrencies. But let me go back to Bitcoin, and let me show you how we recover from this. Using TradingView, we're going to come over here, and we're going to check logarithmic. Okay, so log chart. This is basically the same chart. We started down here at a couple $100 for Bitcoin, and we're still up here at 60,000. But notice how the scale of the chart on the right-hand side is different. It's different because instead of every major axis being equidistant 5,000 points apart, you'll notice that the difference between the major axes down here towards the low was 180 points, but the difference up here towards the high is 8,000, 10,000, 20,000 points. And what is essentially happening here is we're going out and let me just mark off about 20,000. And then let me mark off here near 30,000. So I know they're not exact, they're kind of close, but just bear with me here. And then I'm going to mark off another spot that is the same distance. Okay, so we've got that distance. And so the next major axis comes up here near 50. A little bit lower. Okay, so basically what it's doing is on a percentage basis, it's coming up, and it's, instead of being, 5,000 points, it's saying going from 20,000 to 30,000 is a 50% increase. Then going from 30,000 up to, it'd be about 45, that's another 50% increase. So every major axis is the same in percentage terms, and so that's the kind of scale you want to use when you're looking at cryptocurrencies, which are going up thousands and thousands of percent. So notice how the patterns on this chart are a bit more discernible. A bit more discernible because I can come out here and I could take a trend line and I can draw a trend line, kind of covering these lows now. You see how it seems to be supporting prices. But if I were to convert this back to an arithmetic scale, that trend line is way out of whack, and the patterns are a lot more difficult to see. So especially at longer term crypto charts, make sure that you're taking a look at a log scale, and that pertains to the pricing along the y-axis. Okay, so now let's get into some of the indicators. Let me get some of this stuff off the screen here. Okay, so the first type of indicators or tools that we're going to find on the chart are going to be something with a separate window at the bottom. So here, here's an RSI. This is called the Relative Strength Index. And some of these indicators will show up as a separate pane on the bottom of the chart. Or you can even move this and make it appear at the top of the chart. It doesn't matter where it's at. The point is that it's separate from the actual price scale. It's got its own scale. And in this case, the RSI is bounded between 0 and 100. And it's used to determine levels of overbought, oversold for Bitcoin and the other cryptocurrencies. And you can also use it to determine divergence. So that's one. Another one that shows up in a separate pane at the bottom would be a MACD, moving average convergence divergence. So that's this guy here. And there's a whole lot of uses in it. We'll be covering this one in a future video, as we will the RSI. And then also you've got another popular one, which is stochastic. So all of these show up as separate panes at the bottom or at the top, but they're just a separate pane from the price. Now there's other types of tools. Let me delete these off the charts. And that's something else that we also need to make a mention of, is try to keep your charts as clean as possible. More things on the charts does not necessarily mean it's better analysis. It can actually help confuse you, which is not what you want. Okay, so let's go out and let's look at some additional indicators that will show up on the actual price chart. So let's come out here. This MA is called a moving average. There's all different types of moving averages: simple moving average, exponential moving average, whole moving averages. Then you've got different periods on the moving average. This is a 200 period moving average. And also notice that whenever I change the time frame of the chart from a daily to a 4-hour or to some others, the moving average recalculates. The RSI recalculates. So, these are basically math formulas that you don't need to know you need to know about them, but you don't have to worry about doing the math yourself. The computer will take care of it for you. But moving average is a very popular one. We're going to have a video coming up on it as well. Then we've got other indicators which show up as on top of the price chart. Bollinger Bands is another one. So Bollinger Bands, again, it could change the time frame of the chart, and the indicator will change with it. Bollinger Bands shows up here. So that's another one that shows on the price. So what you do is you read how the price is reacting to the lines and the Bollinger Bands. We've got others like Ichimoku is one of my favorites. And it's got a whole host of lines, a lot of different uses for it. We're not going to cover it in this particular video. Super trend is an interesting one. But the point being is that you've got indicators that show up in different panes below the chart, and then you've got indicators that actually bleed on top of the prices, and you see how prices are reacting. So like for super trend, when price comes up and when it reaches, in this case it was a red super trend, when it reaches the super trend, that's when super trend changes to green. Okay, and then it stays bullish until the price comes and reaches the lower end. So a lot of neat uses for it, a lot of cool indicators out there. But the one that we're going to be jumping into in the next video is going to be the actual drawing tools. So we've got trend lines. I showed that trend line earlier in the video. We come out here, we can draw trend lines. Also shared with you horizontal lines. So this could be a situation where you've got a touch here and it's a horizontal line, another touch here, another touch here, another touch here, another touch here. So we could use horizontal lines of support and resistance. So these are drawing tools. These are things that we draw on the chart. It requires our discretion as to where we put the line. I mean, I could have put the line, somewhere else. You know, I could have put it down here, up here. So I choose where the line goes, but we use these drawing tools to help identify potential opportunities in the market. You know, so here's a Fibonacci retracement, right? I choose where to draw that Fibonacci retracement. So those are the three types of tools that you're going to find available for technical analysis. You've got the one that shows up below the chart, which is a math calculation. You've got the indicator of the oscillate, well, it'd be an indicator that shows on the price chart, and that's a math formula. And then you've got the drawing tools, which are the things that we add to the charts to help us with our analysis. And we're seeing how price is behaving around certain things. So that's all we've got for this video. In the next video, what we're going to do is we are going to start getting into the nitty-gritty of talking about support and resistance and how to identify levels of support and resistance on the chart. So stay tuned, and we will see you in the next video.